Minister Liz Truss has said that regional airports are a vital part of economic growth. But a major hub in South Yorkshire is on the brink of closure. MPs have demanded the Transport Secretary steps in to keep Doncaster Sheffield Airport open. Christina Cooper reports.
There was a completely new lineup of ministers at transport questions, all appointed by the Prime Minister Liz Truss last month, and they're having to get up to speed on some pressing issues.
Doncaster Sheffield Airport is a strategic asset not just for South Yorkshire but for the wider north, and it is an important part of our national transport infrastructure, but it is about to close.
Labour's Dan Jarvis, who was the South Yorkshire Mayor until May this year.
The Secretary of State has received numerous meeting requests both from the Mayor of South Yorkshire and from members across this House, along with specific concerns about how closure would diminish our civil contingency capability with potentially very severe consequences. So will the Secretary of State agree to an urgent meeting to sit down with the Mayor and with members of Parliament from across South Yorkshire so we can work together and do everything we can to keep DSA open?
The owner of the airport, the Peel Group, has said it will have to close at the end of the month due to a lack of financial viability. Politicians in South Yorkshire have offered the firm public money to keep it open into next year. In an interview with the BBC's Look North programme last month, Liz Truss said she wanted to ensure the survival of the airport. And at her first Prime Minister's questions, she said regional airports, including Doncaster Sheffield, were a vital part of economic growth. The Transport Secretary, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, put the onus on the Peel Group and local authorities to sort the issue out.
The Government is incredibly disappointed that air operations at Doncaster Sheffield Airport are expected to close from the start of November. We recognise this will be difficult news for those who use the airport, as well, of course, as those businesses or people working at the airport. Of course, this was ultimately a commercial decision made by the owners of DSA, but I have held several meetings both with the local leaders and the Peel Group to encourage them to work together towards a solution for the site which will benefit local people and the region's economy.
The issue was taken up by another South Yorkshire MP, Labour's Stephanie Peacock.
This is an incredibly urgent and serious issue. I am not sure what meetings the Secretary of State is referring to, but will she now agree to meet local leaders?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've asked my officials to meet the Mayor of the Combined Authority in the very near future in order to continue the discussions that we have already had. But as I say, this is ultimately a commercial decision by the airport owners, and we want to work with them and the authority to find the right solutions.
Remarks that led Labour's Shadow Transport Secretary Louise Haigh, a Sheffield MP, to conclude that the new team of ministers hadn't got off to a great start.
The Prime Minister promised to protect Doncaster Sheffield Airport during her leadership campaign, and she gave a promise to the member for Don Valley, who I don't see in his place this morning, at her first Prime Minister's questions, to do what she could to protect the airport. This isn't just a commercial decision.
She said the Labour Mayor of South Yorkshire, Oliver Coppard, had written to the Peel Group with names of potential bidders and again offering financial support.
So will the Secretary of State agree to meet the Mayor and members across this House and consider using her powers under the Civil Contingencies Act in order to keep the strategic asset running?
Mr. Speaker, DfT, both ministers and officials, have been clear throughout that government supports our regional airports and that they provide a vital contribution. But throughout the period of review carried out by the Peel Group, transport ministers have been working together and indeed urging, and I'm very pleased to hear that there are new proposals on the table, working with the local authorities and the Peel Group to find ways forwards.
The Civil Contingencies Act allows the government to use emergency powers in the interests of national security. Anne-Marie Trevelyan didn't think they applied in this case.
I am not persuaded, actually, that the closure of DSA would be able to be undertaken under that Act.
Louise Haigh pressed her on Liz Truss's comments about the airport.
What did the Prime Minister mean when she said she would protect Doncaster Sheffield Airport?
Mr. Speaker, as I say, we continue to show that support for our regional airports. But at the end of the day, this is an airport held in ownership by Peel Group, and we want to continue to work with them, as I have said.
Later, staff from Doncaster Sheffield Airport delivered a petition signed by 100,000 people to the Department for Transport, saying that the people of South Yorkshire deserved an international transport hub.